Hello everybody and welcome back to the show. I am Infamous OG 1973 and I am here to get you going on more gaming news and current events that are happening on home away from YouTube, as well as everybody nostalgia gaming retro and just basically in the gaming world altogether. So I hope you enjoy the show. I apologize about not starting out my video series for this season earlier, or starting it out. I'm wondering if I want to just still make this a part of the first season or not, because we had some mishaps in the previous episodes that I had to recover from. So I'm back at it again with more of my gaming streams and podcasts so that I can get this done. What I try to do is at least get 12 series episodes, and that's where all the craziness comes into play, because I have actually been here. Let me go ahead and post that. I don't know why I keep please get 12. I keep forgetting to post on X, so it's a live stream. And get it posted so that people know that I'm live right now if they want to watch on there. But what happened was I started out doing my shows on my alternate YouTube channel, which I use basically to go on and watch hot chicks freaking change and do try-on hauls, in lingerie and shit. But I decided that I wasn't going to do that because my buddy over at Home Away from YouTube asked me if I wanted to do streams for Home Away from YouTube. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I started doing them on my other channel, which is Gaming with Infamous, and lo and behold, all of a sudden we get a Home Away from YouTube channel. So I started doing it on there, as well as with Rumble and Odyssey, and then every single person that was involved with that channel lost access to it at some point, you know what I mean? So there I was stuck without being able to put any more videos on that. So basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to get back on this time of the year. Actually, it was supposed to be like around August or September, and I just kept getting overlogged with a lot of things because I've been doing streams and a lot of people on Twitch and Odyssey and Rumble. Well, not Odyssey, but Rumble especially. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm always doing streams on different topics and genres. But I wanted to get back into the video game area because I wanted to continue where I left off. So what happened was I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stream my shows like I have been, and let everything fall where they may. That way at least I know that I'm getting the streams in, and I'm doing it on my channel now, Gaming with Infamous. So if you guys want to check me out there, you can on Odyssey, YouTube, X, Rumble, and Twitch. So yeah, I have channels on all those. All of them are under Gaming with Infamous 2, except for on X. That's my real name, which is Roger Hansen. So you guys can check me out on there as well. So that's basically how all this started. Now I'm going to continue doing my shows like I was before and get on with it. Now, before I start getting into current events and everything other than what I just did, I am also going to go through and start talking about things that are going on in the gaming community. A lot of interesting things are happening right now in November concerning video games. So I figured I would just get out with it now. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the release of Elder Scrolls 6. Now, earlier I ended up checking into things that are happening, and I ran into some interesting topics that had to do with the release of Elder Scrolls 6. And based on common themes and expectations from the series, along with fans' theories and educated guesses, the initial description I'm providing right now is speculative based on common themes and expectations from the series. Okay, things that have happened and everything, and the common themes that have gone on in the past. So, what I want to bring up are some things that I've been finding out when it comes to the release of Elder Scrolls 6. It's not scheduled to come out for another 2 years, I believe, but there's a lot of people who believe that they'll possibly come out earlier, and there's also a lot of people who have their ideas on what the next Elder Scrolls is going to be. So I just want to kind of go through it, and kind of explore that. And if you guys have any comments on it, feel free to make comments in this comment section. It's like I said, I am on Skype. The call is open. The same goes with Discord. If you want to join me, you can join me on my channel, Gaming with Infamous on Discord and Gaming with Infamous on Skype. If not, just leave a comment in the comment section and I'll get back with you on that, you know what I mean? So, the initial description was the inclusion of a specific narrative elements and gameplay mechanics, such as the introduction of High Rock, political intrigue, and they also are talking about revamped AI in the game. Okay, now High Rock is a province in the continent of Tamriel, known for its rugged mountainous terrains, numerous political factions. It's home to the Bretons, race of humans with a natural affinity for magic and a distinct cultural heritage. High Rock's architecture and cities reflect a distinct cultural heritage. High Rock's architecture and cities reflect a medieval European aesthetic, featuring castles, strongholds, and dense cities. Previous entries in the Elder Scrolls series, such as the Elder Scrolls 2, Daggerfall, partially explored this region, making it a plausible setting for the next installment. The speculation around High Rock being the setting for the Elder Scrolls 6 largely stems from the game's announcement teaser, which showed a coastal mountainous landscape resembling the geography of High Rock. It would offer a fresh yet familiar setting, allowing Bethesda to expand on lore elements only lightly touched in the previous titles. The Elder Scrolls series is known for its complex political landscape and faction-based storytelling. If Elder Scrolls 6 does focus on High Rock, a region divided into multiple feudal kingdoms and city-states, it would naturally involve significant political machinations. Players might navigate alliances, betrayals, the power struggles among rival lords, and magical factions. In Daggerfall, the setting already explored some political dynamics in High Rock, with players engaging in quests that impacted the balance of power between warring factions. Bethesda may expand on this by integrating deeper storylines involving espionage, assassination, and successive succession crisis, adding layers of depth to quests and interaction. Now, with that, I do have to kind of get into it and say from my own personal experience that I've dealt with this kind of thing with Elder Scrolls. Okay, now I got involved with Elder Scrolls Online, which I still love the game. I know a lot of people have a problem with it, but I'm not one of those people. Okay. But I do have to say that they came out with the whole concept of multiplayer games, you know, where you can get in there and you can lay siege to cities and stuff of that nature. At first, it was a big deal when they first introduced it, and everybody came flocking to it. And even today, like, I can go into the game and there'll be like fights and stuff there that's taking place, but it won't be on the scale that it was when I first seen it happening. When I first got Elder Scrolls Online, it seems to have become, it was a trend, you know, and it just seems to have died out. And that's something that I see happening there when they do this. Now, this all does sound good, but I do want to point that out, you know, because I thought that was going to turn into something really great, and it really just kind of flopped, you know what I mean? And like I said, you can go in there and you can do fun interactive battles and stuff like that with one another, but it's not as good as what it was when it first came out, just to let you guys know. Now, one of the anticipated features in Elder Scrolls 6 is a more advanced AI system that reacts more dynamically to the player's actions. Given that Bethesda has been gradually improving its AI systems over time, starting with Skyrim and more recently with Fallout 4 and Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6 could take this further by introducing NPCs with more complex behaviors, schedules, and interactions. Now, I'm going to get more into the whole AI aspect of that later on, because here recently, within the last year, since I actually well, I guess I might have been doing Tech Talk whenever I was doing these too, but I'm not quite sure. But I have another video series that I do on a different channel called Working with Audio and Video with a guy by the name of Mark Edworthy and Mark Edworthy and Tan Hai Tran, and we've finished off our second season there. And in the second season, it was weird because we started talking about AI, and we really got into the conversation a lot about it, and it made me curious. So I finally dived into it, and I started doing, you know, my own little experiments with the AI and what it was actually capable of doing compared to what we're being told, you know, all the hype that you hear on TV and the news and everything, you know. So later on, I would like to get into that whenever I get farther down on the information and stuff. So I have my opinions on it, basically, is what I'm saying. So, but it would be good if they could integrate it into the game, okay? So, for example, AI characters could react to political shifts with High Rock changing their allegiances and making decisions based on the player's influence in the world. This would create a more organic, reactive world where NPCs aren't just quest givers, but integral participants in the narrative fabric of the games. Bethesda's creation engine 2, which is being used for the Elder Scrolls 6, is expected to support more sophisticated AI behaviors and world systems. Now, that would be good if they could do that, because like the one of the few disappointments I had with Skyrim was, like, after you beat the game, everything reset. It seemed, no, what it was is like the Imperial army stayed the Imperial Army, even though you freaking overthrew the Imperial Army. And the same with the Stormcloaks. If you were an Imperial, then after you beat the Stormcloaks would still be there, you know. And that was something that really kind of irked me, you know what I mean? I just didn't like the idea of that. And I'm not talking about beating the game, I'm talking about where you beat the opposing faction and they still stay there. Whereas, you know what I'm saying? Why are they still there? You know what I mean? Why are the camps still there with the Imperial Guard when you've beaten them, or the Stormcloaks? So that would be a positive thing in my opinion when it comes to the game engine and changing that around. I don't necessarily know if that would have to really do with actual AI behaviors. I mean, well, I guess it could be just part of the game engine too, you know. So I don't know. Now, in addition to AI advancements, fans are hoping for a more interactive world that responds to the player's presence. This could include environmental destruction, altering terrain through magic, or a dynamic economy that fluctuates based on trade and conflict. Implementing these features would elevate the series' focus on player agency and exploration. Now, when it comes to trade, that's one thing that I do have a problem with. Like, when I go in and I make trades, I would like it to where there would be more variety in each of the shops that I go to. But like, whenever I go into shops and I make trades, all of a sudden that stays there and that's it. You know what I mean? There's no change to the next time I come in. So that's something else too. Is something that would be good from it if they could actually make it to where when you go into a shop and you want to buy stuff, then it'll be new stuff. It wouldn't be just the same stuff that was there all throughout the game. So now, the Elder Scrolls 6 is expected to be released for Windows and Xbox console in 2026 or later. The game is the sixth main installment in the Elder Scrolls series, following the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim in 2011. Here's some more information about the Elder Scrolls 6 platforms. The game is expected to be exclusive to PC and Xbox. It may also be available on the next generation of Xbox hardware, which is planned for release in 2028. Bethesda teased the Elder Scrolls 6 with a brief announcement video at E3 in 2018. Bethesda game studios and developers of Skyrim and Fallout 4 are currently working on the game, so that they are going to come out with it, and there's a lot of speculation about it. The whole thing about the Xbox Next Generation 2, I did pull up some information about that, but that's going to come later on down the list, so I'll be bringing that up. That's actually a good topic to talk about. Now, after the Elder Scrolls 6, Bethesda will work on Fallout 5, supposedly. Now, that's what they're saying. They're saying that after they're done with Elder Scrolls 6, then Bethesda is going to follow through with Fallout 5. So hopefully we'll get Fallout 5 too for all you Fallout fans. I just now started doing Fallout, so I can't really call myself a Fallout fan, but I do know that much. I know that I know that they're coming out. They're planning on coming out with Fallout 5 after they're done with Elder Scrolls 6. Okay, so with that being covered, I'm going to move on now, and my next game that I want to bring up is Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty expansion. I'm going to talk about the expansion. Now, the Phantom Liberty expansion for Cyberpunk 2077 has been another major highlight for 2024. After a tumultuous launch in 2020, Cyberpunk 2077 has been a resurgence in popularity thanks to continuous updates and fixes by CD Projekt Red. Now, the Phantom Liberty expansion builds on this momentum by introducing a gripping new storyline set in a previous unexplored district of Night City. The expansion features new characters, factions, and a branching narrative that emphasizes player choices, with Keanu Reeves reprising his role as Johnny Silverhand. Phantom Liberty delves deeper into the world's cybernetic underbelly, tackling themes of freedom, identity, and power. The Expanse has been lauded for its improved mechanics, enhanced combat systems, and refined RPG elements, addressing many criticisms from the base game's initial launch. And I do remember getting feedback on this game. I network with a lot of different people when it comes to gaming, and I never got a chance to play the initial one. I know my son was playing it for a while, and playing it and watching somebody playing it is two different things, you know. He didn't seem to have too many problems when it came to it, but really I never asked him, you know. But I've heard from other people that it was really horrible. They ended up having to go in and really do some major work on the actual base game and putting out this new expansion to the original 2077. So that's something that I did get feedback from. People were saying that this was really a horrible thing that was going on. So, and you know, I'm just to let you guys know and to be clear about it, I'm really not a fan of this game. I like it, don't get me wrong, from what I've seen, but I haven't played it. I do plan to play it here in the near future at some time, but I have absolutely no knowledge when it comes to how the game plays or anything of that nature. I do know, like I said, what my son had gone through and the things he played on there. It looked interesting. It looked alright. So I other than that though, I really don't know what else to say when it comes to that. I've checked the streams. There's no comments in the comment sections, and nobody has joined on Skype or Discord, so we are set and good to go. It seems we are set and good to go. Now I do have a message. Oh, it's from Music Art. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I am on Discord and I am on Skype. If you guys are interested in joining up, you can. I am fine with it though. I'll keep on doing the show, and if you guys are watching and listening to this, or if you end up watching and listening to it later on, feel free to leave a comment in the chat section now, or later on if you're watching it, leave a comment in the comment section, you know, and let me know what your feedback is so that I can kind of go off of that and maybe get some more good episodes out of this if there's something that you want to discuss or anything of that nature, you know. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and continue with, you know, Cyberpunk 2077, I guess. Now, the expansion features new characters, like I said, and emphasizes the player's choice. And then Keanu Reeves, I mentioned that. Now, the Cyberpunk 2077 updates in 2024 are centered around the major 2.0 patch in the Phantom Liberty expansion, which brought extensive changes and new content to the game. Here's an overview of what's new and noteworthy. I'll start out with Cyberpunk 2077 Update 2.0. That revamped the gameplay mechanics. The update includes a complete overhaul of core systems like skill trees, perks, and cyberware management, introducing new abilities such as air dashing and quick hack overclocking. Now, cyberware enhancements have been reworked, focusing more on capacity management rather than being restricted by attribute scores, giving players more flexibility in customizing their character. And that comes from PC Gamer. Now you have improved police system. The update introduced a more dynamic NCPD system that responds more naturally to crimes, including vehicle chases and more realistic police behavior. This system draws comparisons to the police interactions seen in GTA, making it a significant improvement from the base game's teleporting police. And that also comes from PC Gamer. Now, new combat features. The addition of vehicle combat allows players to equip cars with missile launchers and weapons, making chases and street combat more engaging. Also pulled off of PC Gamer. Now, they also have level cap increase and new skill tree. The new skill tree. So the level cap has been raised to 60, and a new relic skill tree with 9 abilities was introduced, focusing on expanding options for those looking to max out their character. And I got all of them from PC Gamer. So pretty much everything I got, I went on PC Gamer and I found out most of it. Phantom Liberty expansion. I'm going to go ahead and get into that. Now, the new district, I'm going to bring up Dogtown. The expansion takes players to Dogtown, a new district in Night City with a darker, more militaristic aesthetic. This zone offers new missions, side gigs, and activities, making it a hub for exploring Phantom Liberty's storyline. The major storyline. The expansion introduces a new narrative involving espionage, conspiracy, and a brand new set of characters. Keanu Reeves reprises his role as Johnny Silverhand, adding depth to the storyline as players navigate high-stakes political drama. Now, expanded arsenal and cyberware. Phantom Liberty adds numerous new weapons, vehicles, and cyberware options, giving players more tools to customize their playstyle and experience the game in new ways. Unique missions and quests. The expansion features a storyline that can take around 18 to 20 hours to complete if players engage in side content and explore the districts fully. Some new quests even offer morally complex choices, making the expansion stand out for its branching narratives and depth. Overall, these updates have reinvigorated Cyberpunk 2017 by addressing many of the criticisms from the original launch and offering a richer, more polished experience. If you're interested in delving deeper into the details, sources like PC Gamer provide a comprehensive breakdown of these changes. Yeah, okay, so now with that, I also want to go into Grand Theft Auto 6 teasers and community speculation. Now, I barely was able to play Grand Theft Auto 5 yet. I've played around with it with my niece and my nephews. I've also messed around with it a few times here and there. I do have to say there are some pretty good things that I did catch on to it, but I mean, I don't really know too much when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 5. Now they're coming out with a Grand Theft Auto 6. So, yeah, I've got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to the Grand Theft Auto thing. So, now Rockstar Games has kept the gaming community abuzz with teasers for Grand Theft Auto 6, while no official release date has been confirmed. While no official release dates have been confirmed, leaks and official trailers have sparked a wave of speculation about the setting, characters, and potential gameplay mechanics. Set to be one of the most ambitious open-world games ever created, Grand Theft Auto 6 is rumored to feature multiple cities, a dynamic weather system, and an evolving crime narrative that spans decades. Now that would be pretty cool. I still love Grand Theft Auto 2, I believe. I really do. I think if they could incorporate all of the cities into one, that would it'd make it worth watching or playing, I should say. I really do like that. So the hype surrounding GTA 6 is also it also illustrates the power of community engagement in modern game marketing. Rockstar's use of social media, cryptic messages, and interactive teasers have kept players engaged, even without a concrete release date. This method of building anticipation is becoming a standard practice for high-profile releases, proving that sustained community interaction is just as important as traditional marketing. Now, I've heard a few people talk about that. I like to go on, or I used to go on RJ Casual's podcast, where a casual hardcore gamer, RJ, casual hardcore gamer, he had a podcast out, and they would discuss the marketing of games and like the quality of games that are being put out, and a lot of what they had to say I do agree on, like the quality of games that you're getting because of over marketing is just outrageous. You know what I mean? Like, people are just going out and they're buying crap games, and the only reason they're doing it is because of the marketing that's involved. There's actually just crappy games that shouldn't even be released, and they're being released, and people are just buying them up. They're going out of style, So that is one thing that I did agree with whenever I used to listen to them talk. I think that is a big issue that a lot of people have been falling for, and basically get back to making good games, you know what I mean? Take time to work on the game before you release it. You see a lot of these games coming out where they have like beta, where you can buy it in beta and play it before it's released. Give that stuff up and just wait until you have the game done and release it before you throw out your garbage to the general public. I think that those are some issues that the gaming industry does have an issue with. So that is one thing I have to say about it. I don't really buy into this whole good marketing strategies and stuff of that nature. Because that's all that is when they come out and they do the whole freaking, how do they state it, the cryptic messages and interactive teasers. That's all that is. It's just a marketing ploy. So for me, I don't fall for it. I don't believe in all that stuff. I don't think that's worth wasting my time or effort on. I've even learned through streaming, like whenever they say play games, they say don't go after the high priority games because there's a lot of competition among the streamers. Pick a game that people like to play, but it's not one of the top 10 games. You know what I mean? Pick something that's below that when you're just starting out. Now, if you get a big following or something like that, that's a different story altogether. You can pretty much play those and get good views and stuff, but they don't suggest that you go for those high priority games and things of that nature. So and I think that what it comes down to is all about marketing. These games get pushed out on you and people just flock to them, and it's the same way with the streamers. The streamers will jump on the bandwagon and they'll get those freaking high marketed games and say how great they are. And the only reason why they do that is because they want views. It's a marketing strategy. So now, with that, I'm going to start up with the rise of new esports tournaments and shifts in competitive gamings. Now, the first one I want to get into is League of Legends World Championship for 2024. Okay. The 2024 League of Legends World Championship, it'll be held in Europe, or it was held in Europe, and the exact details regarding they'll be held in Europe is what it is. I believe they're being held right now. I'm not quite sure. I believe it's coming up right now, and it'll be held in Europe. And the final schedule to take place is to take place in London, is what I've heard. Now, They also say that this year's tournament's format, it'll feature a new structure, including a combination of play-ins, group stages, and knockout rounds across multiple locations in Europe, culminating into the grand finale finals. Now, the exact details regarding match dates, locations, and team participation, that's going to be released closer to the events, which I believe it is coming up. I believe that's now in October. I'm not quite sure, but that's what I have found out about them. So I believe they're coming up. I'm not sure if they've already. No, it's the Valorant Championships in 2024, which is already done. Now, the Valorant Champions 2024, also known as VCT Champions, is the crowning event of the Valorant esport calendar, featuring 16 teams with 4 representatives from each region. The majority of the events was held at the COEX Artium in Seoul, Korea. And the event attracted teams from across the globe, each showcasing unique strategies and highlighting the depths of Valorant's tactical gameplay. Now, the final event of Valorant Champions Tour Riot's 2024 tournament circuit it was done, and the first prize was 1 million USD. It was won by Edward Gaming from China. Second prize, which was 400,000 USD, was won by Team Heretic from Europe. Third prize, 250,000 USD, was won by Leviathan, and he's from Chile. Then the fourth prize, which is 130,000 USD, was won by Sentinels, and that he was from the U.S. here in the United States. And some high stake gaming. I got on Dota 2 and tried that out a while back, and I could not believe how competitive those people are. I mean, these games are just so outrageous, and they're insane. Like, they will kick you off their servers if you suck at those games. I mean, literally, they will penalize you because you're not good at them. You know, that just blows me out of the water when I think about that. You know things are going too far in the gaming communities when people are being kicked off platforms because they don't know how to properly play the game. And that's just my take on it, you know. I just, ever since I got involved with that game, I never had the desire whatsoever to go back and play it again after I did it, because like they have no first of all, their games are like, to play those games you have to have like your supercomputers. You can't just play the game with a regular computer. It would literally mess your computer up. And then when you go on there, they have no real good instructions on how to properly play the game. So when you get in there, you're basically lost, and they throw you into these battles. You know what I mean? There you go. That's it. And it turned me off. It turned me off in a really, really bad way. So I don't really get into Dota. Now, when it comes to doing multiplayer games, I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? But I just think there is a point where it goes too far. Now, from what I've seen with Valorant, it's not competitive like that, so don't listen to that when it comes to Valorant. I was just talking about Dota 2. So with that, I'm just going to move on to industry trends and technological innovations. Now, this is where we get to the growth of cross-platform play. One of the defining trends of 2024 is the rise of cross-platform play. Titles like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, and Apex Legends have led the charge, enabling players across PC, console, and mobile devices to compete seamlessly. This trend is reshaping the multiplayer landscape, breaking down barriers that once segregated gaming communities. And I do have to mention that is one thing that is true. I remember how hard it was to freaking play games on Xbox versus the same game on PC, you know what I mean? And like, Steam was always there, and these companies refuse to put their games up on Steam. So I do see that from back in the day whenever that was actually an issue. And like, it really sucked too, because like my nephew Tyler, he used to play Minecraft, and I used to play Minecraft with my other nephews, Jake and Cody, you know, and we would play on a PlayStation, and then I would go over to Tyler's house and I would see him play the same game on Xbox. And in my personal opinion, I think that the Minecraft version for Xbox sucked compared to the one on PlayStation. And the reason why I say that is because of little issues, like especially with TNT. If you played the game, you know about the TNT, where you can make it and then you can throw it. And then when you throw the TNT, whatever it hits on PlayStation explodes. Okay, whereas on Xbox, if you don't throw, or you can throw it still, but when it hits a wall or something, it'll just bounce off and explode on the ground. You know, little things like that actually ruin the whole thing, the whole situation. You know what I mean? So that was one thing that I did notice that I did not agree with when it came to these companies preventing you from freaking playing together. And you know, and there were games like that you couldn't play if you had an Xbox because Nintendo wouldn't allow you to use them. But even with that, I still have my issues, and maybe I'll get more into that later on here as I go through and do this and finish up. I believe I have something else written on it too. Now, the benefits of cross-platform play are manifold. It fosters larger player bases, reduces matchmaking times, and allows for more balanced competition. However, it also introduces new challenges, particularly in maintaining parity between different control schemes. Developers are now focusing on fine-tuning these systems to ensure that no platform holds a distinct advantage, promoting fair competition across the board. Now, the one thing that I have an issue with here is like, and this is another thing that RJ from Hardcore, from Casual Hardcore Gaming, had a conversation with his buddy on his show, and that's kind of what spurred me off onto this idea, because and I didn't research it at the time, but it did make me think about it, and he didn't like the idea of this whole concept of getting on the internet and joining the web, to play games that you could all play together and stuff. And I thought about that, and then after that happened, I finally decided to get more involved and figure out more about this when I found out about Activision's acquisition that was taking place. And one of the stipulations between negotiations was that from the EU, the European Union, was that they would allow the acquisition to take place in the European Union if Activision and maybe, I believe, Xbox and Microsoft too had to get themselves set up on the World Web, I guess it is, Now, I do agree with, the whole parity thing. I went on to double check to make sure what they were talking about. And maintaining parity between different control schemes refers to the effort game developers make to ensure that players using various input methods like controllers, keyboards, and mice have a comparable experience in gameplay. So this is particularly important in competitive gaming where disparities in control efficiency can influence the outcome of matches. So say if I'm using a keyboard and you're using a controller, you know what I mean? They have this set up to where freaking it maintains parity to where it would be easier for, just as easy to use a controller as what it is for a keyboard, or vice versa, some other device, or so that I do agree with. But then what I was talking about there, it kind of delves into a lot of other things, you know what I'm saying, like in their language, promoting fair competition across the board, when they start talking about fair competition across the board, that comes to mind to me, where it's like, I don't know, you know what I mean? It just does not feel right whenever I hear it, and that's one thing that I was wanting to mention, but I didn't know that it was going to pop up on that part this soon. But that was what I was talking about earlier, whenever I was just finishing up on the first part of the cross-platform thing, Now, key aspects of maintaining parity, input responsiveness. Developers strive to ensure that actions performed using different devices, such as moving a character or executing commands, yield similar responsiveness. This can involve adjusting sensitivity settings and input lag to match across devices. Now, gameplay balance. It ensures that no single control scheme provides an advantage over others, and that's crucial. Now, for instance, aiming precision might differ between a mouse and controller. So developers may tweak the game's mechanics to level the playing field. And there it goes again, level the playing field. Now, after that, we go to user experience. The aim is to create a seamless experience for all players, regardless of their preferred control method. This can include customizable settings for each scheme, allowing players to adjust sensitivity and dead zones according to their comfort, which that sounds pretty good. Then they have testing across platforms. Rigorous playtesting with various input devices helps developers identify discrepancies in performance and make necessary adjustments before launch. This approach is significant in multiplayer settings, as games like Fortnite and Call of Duty have adopted cross-platform play while ensuring that players enjoy a balanced competitive environment regardless of their chosen input method. Okay, now the cloud gaming is what I was talking about. That is what that kind of rung out to me. Now I'm getting into this whole thing, but I'm not really fully educated to what everything is. You know what I'm saying? Now, whereas before they were talking about cross-platform play, I couldn't tell you what the difference between cross-platform play and cloud gaming would be. I mean, for me, it's one and the same basically, because you can get on cloud gaming and basically do the same that cross-platform is. Maybe the only difference is, like, you can go directly from an Xbox to a PlayStation without getting on the cloud. That would be interesting if that's what they're talking about, But I mean, for me, I'm not too sure on what they're talking about there, so that's just purely speculation on my part. But anyhow, the cloud is what I really do kind of see. It seems kind of suspicious to me after the whole Activision thing. Why would the EU make it necessary? It was necessary for Activision to be on this cloud gaming cloud gaming platform before they would approve of the Activision merger with Xbox, I believe it was. No, it was Microsoft. And I thought that was pretty interesting how that worked out. I did. I thought that was really interesting. Now, cloud gaming has been a hot topic in recent years, and 2024 has seen major strides in this area. Services like Microsoft Xbox Cloud Gaming, NVIDIA GeForce Now, and Amazon's Luna are expanding their reach, offering higher quality streaming experiences and lower latency. With the 5G networks becoming more widespread, cloud gaming is on the brink of mainstream adoption. The implication of this shift are significant. By eliminating the need for high-end hardware, cloud gaming democratizes access, allowing more players to enjoy AAA titles without investing in expensive equipment. This development is particularly impactful in regions where gaming PCs and consoles are less accessible, paving the way for a new generation of gamers. Now, for me, gaming PCs might be my term for like supercomputers. You know, the ones I always pick on my son about. You know, like they always call freaking like the regular, you know, dual core CPU gaming computers as like toasters and shit, or potatoes and everything. So I call them like their supercomputer. You know what I mean? Which, don't get me wrong, my CPU has 8 cores and a GPU, which is the first time I've actually had a game like a computer like that. And now I'm finding out that I need to freaking have more in the freaking in the freaking memory sticks in order to do my shit with Blender and stuff. So it kind of gets to me when I stop and think about that stuff, you know, how crazy that is. So I don't know. I mean, for me, it just I find it just weird. Like, why is that a stipulation that they had to agree on, you know, and like converging all this information on a cloud server, you know? I'm one of those people, man, who I don't agree with that kind of behavior when it comes to the internet or anything like that nature. You know, I would prefer just being able to get the game and download it directly onto my computer and be done with it. So that's just me, you know. That's how I feel. Now, I am lost track of where I'm at. Okay, now additionally, advancements in streaming technology are blurring the lines between gaming and social interaction. Platforms like Twitch and YouTube gaming are integrating more interactive features such as real-time polling, community challenges, and direct integration with games, creating a more participatory viewing experience. Now, I seen that when I found the information, and I wanted to put that up there because it was like they're making it out like this is a new thing. You know, I remember like 2 or 3 years ago they had the same thing going on. I believe they have options on Twitch to where you can actually make it to where the player, while playing the game, has to do certain things. You know what I mean? Like, and they can't do opposite of that. Like, it's a direct thing that you have to freaking do this or you have to do that. So I mean, and they're like challenges basically. But I've seen that for the last 2 or 3 years. So I don't really see that as being anything new, you know. So now, after that, I'm going to go into the metaverse and gaming's role in the shaping of virtual worlds. Now, this is something that I have been getting involved with Minds Gaming on Minds.com, and he has been playing around with a virtual world and going through MintMe for cryptocurrency and stuff of that nature. But he also is doing a virtual world on glitch.com, and this is something that really stuck out to me when I was reading it, because Well, I'll just go ahead and read what I put up here and see what you guys think. The concept of the multiverse, a shared virtual space where users can interact, work, and play, has gained substantial traction in 2004. Major companies like Meta, formerly Facebook, Epic Games, and Microsoft are investing heavily in developing metaverse platforms, and gaming is at the forefront of this transformation. Titles like Roblox and Fortnite have already begun experimenting with metaverse-like features such as virtual corners, social hubs, and user-generated content. The integration of NFTs, which is non-fungible tokens, and blockchain technology is also being explored, enabling players to own and trade virtual assets across different platforms. However, the rise of the metaverse is not without controversy. Concerns about data privacy, digital ownership rights, and the potential for monopolization have sparked heated debates within the community. As the metaverse continues to evolve, the gaming industry will play a critical role in shaping its ethical and technical foundations. Now, I kind of see that as applying to a lot more things than just the gaming industry, you know what I mean? Because, like, I can see the virtual world getting more and more advanced, and people are going to start flocking to it a lot more. Now, I have heard about the Roblox thing because here recently, Minds Gaming lost his VR world because hubs shut down. I believe it was on Google, but they ended up shutting down, and they're still going. The people pitched in and started coming up with Hubs Foundation, I believe is what it's called. I've still got them on Discord and everything, and I kind of keep track on what's going on with them. But it is interesting when it comes to that. But yeah, Hubs was a VR kind of setting, which did those kind of things, and it shut down, you know. So he ended up having to go and move on to Glitch and go through Glitch. And I guess my whole point about that is like it's not really as glamorous as what they're making it out to be. Like there are some places that are just shutting down, you know what I mean? The only experience I had before dealing with this stuff was earlier on when I tried to set up my own VR world through VR chat, and with that I had to use Unity and Blender in combination with VR chat. Now all I have to do on Glitch is get on there, and they have all the console there. If I want to add assets, I can go into Blender, create my assets, and then turn them into what file was that? It's a virtual file basically, and I can transform from my computer directly onto Glitch and be able to incorporate that into my files, you know what I mean? So but here in a minute I can tell you what they are. I've just got to go into my files and pull it up. I actually still have all of this stuff because I've been working with them on getting it going, trying to. It's a very interesting concept. It's all about coding. So that's the one thing that really gets on my nerves. And plus with Glitch, they're using A-frame, which is really, really annoying. I'll tell you that right now. It's really really annoying. So if you do want to plan on doing that, just be aware of that. But yeah, on Blender, what I have to do is I have to create the assets with Blender and then export it out of Blender as a GLB file. And then I take and I upload the GLB file onto Glitch, and then it gets added into it, which is different from what I did when I was doing it with VR chat. And mind you, that could have changed too, because it's been years since I messed around with it on VR chat, and I haven't been on there in quite a while. So what I'm getting at, it's not just video games, you know what I mean? I think virtual reality is going to be a big deal. My youngest son ran around for the longest time thinking that he was doing gaming videos and stuff of that nature, and in reality what he was doing was creating a VR world, and he was actually doing videos with his buddies. And I was like, dude, this is far more than just gaming, you know. You're like creating freaking virtual reality worlds and stuff of that nature. So and there was absolutely no games involved in his videos. So that was pretty cool. Now let me see, I may have gotten myself lost again. Yeah, titles, like, yeah, here we go. Now, Microsoft is reportedly working on the next generation of Xbox consoles. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about earlier on. I said I'll wait till I get here. Now, Microsoft is reportedly working on the next generation of Xbox consoles, maintaining its dual console strategy seen in the current generation. This means there will likely be a follow-up to the Xbox Series X, as well as a handheld device being developed by Microsoft's response to the Stream Deck. The handheld console will likely offer compatibility with Game Pass and other services, potentially serving as a direct competitor to other portable game devices like the Nintendo Switch in the upcoming PlayStation handheld. In addition to these new consoles, Microsoft plans to release updated models of its current hardware, including a 2TB version of the Xbox Series X and a 1TB version of the Xbox Series S, positioning them as refreshed mid-cycle options for consumers. This next generation console release is rumored to be in preparation for Xbox's 25th anniversary and will aim to compete against the future PlayStation 6. Microsoft is launching 3 new Xbox Series X, S console options in October. There's the $449.99 white discless Xbox Series X, a 2TB Galaxy Black Special Edition Xbox Series X priced at $599.99, and a $349.99 1TB Xbox Series S. Now, I hope that made any sense to you guys when I read that, because it got confusing to me. So now, the future of gaming, what to expect in 2025 and beyond. Looking ahead, several key trends are expected to shape the gaming industry. Hello. Now, looking ahead, several key trends are expected to shape the gaming industry in 2025 and beyond. First, artificial intelligence, AI, will become more prominent, enhancing NPC behavior, procedural content generation, game testing. AI-driven characters will become more lifelike, providing players with richer, more immersive experiences. Second, the push for inclusivity and accessibility will continue to gain momentum. Developers are incorporating more customized options to accommodate players with disabilities, such as customizable controls, visual aids, and audio descriptions. These efforts are making games more inclusive and welcoming to a broader audience. Lastly, the convergence of gaming with other forms of media such as film and television will continue. Gaming adaptations are becoming more common, with titles like The Last of Us and Arcane setting a high bar for storytelling and production quality. This convergence is likely to blur the lines between interactive and passive entertainment, giving rise to new hybrid forms of media. And right there, I have an issue with that because I personally have been dealing with a lot of this AI, and I think a lot of what they just said there was a load of shit. So, hello, Mark. I see you there. It's weird. Hello, Mark. I see you there. I seen you come in, so did you hear the last part of that?
No, I didn't. I was more curious. I only just received your Skype notification, actually. So I was just curious just to see how this one's going.
Well, I finally got my first episode for the gaming one set up. This year. I did it last year, and I was wanting to get it started back in September, because that's, I think, the first round of when I did it was back in September of last year with Karma. And I went through, I got everything pretty much laid out, and now I don't have crazy Karma with me driving me nuts. So things went smooth, man.
And actually, I wanted to try out this because this is, if you notice, I mentioned on Skype the other day, I had to replace my mic because the capsule died on the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this first time I just put this one on.
Well, I'm glad you
to
stopped.
Make sure it's working.
Glad you stopped in though, because like I brought it up in the stream earlier, which we are streaming, just so you know. But I brought it up how we kind of got into the AI thing on Tech Talk. You know what I mean? And I believe that we did a really good job when it comes to like exploring all of it and everything.
Yeah, with your and Tan's help, it was an extremely interesting set of discussions.
Yeah, it really was. Now, one thing I do have to say though, like when it comes to the AI, like they're really they're bolstering it up a lot higher than what it really is. Like you always talk about, like it's just a matter of commercialism. You know what I mean? They're just trying to push the product.
Well, it's the latest fad word, isn't it? Fad term.
Yeah.
Marketers will just push the concept just because it's fashionable.
Exactly.
Much like cloud and cloud being the most obvious one.
Well, exactly. And like in the topic, I brought up the the whole thing of game cloud, and I remember. I don't know if you remember me bringing it up a couple times where I find it odd that the EU made it a stipulation that Activision had to put their games on this game cloud in order for...
I think that was more related to competition law as well than any sort of member. If you're a member of if you are most parliamentarians are old enough not to understand or have very little understanding of technology.
Yeah. Well, you hear it in the language that's being put out too. Like I've just realized here doing my research on on this episode about like when they start talking about um, the compatibility between controllers and keyboards on the actual server. You know what I mean? But then they put terminology in that kind of makes you leery because you get this idea that they're freaking, you know, actually alluding to you need to get on the freaking platform, you know, this cloud system, this cloud gaming, you know. It seems
Software as a service or platform as a service.
yeah, you know.
Pass, yeah. Again, as you know, I wrote an article back in 2018, 2019, specifying each element of what the cloud is.
Yeah. And I think we went through that too, actually.
Yeah.
We now what I was talking about, like here, right? They're talking about testing across platforms. Rigorous play testing with various input devices helps developers identify discrepancies in performance and makes necessary adjustments before launch. That's basically the kind of terminology or where they're going with it, and they'll throw like terminology in it that fairness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as you know, I read a lot of legislation and related documents. I sometimes scratch my head wondering what the hell they actually mean.
Right.
Because again, some of the language is so obscure.
Yeah, and they
not relevant to the actual subject.
Exactly. Like here they have balanced competitive environment. You know, so players can enjoy a balanced competitive environment.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. This is the interesting thing with Valve and their cooperation with they own Steam, don't they? Steam and Steam Decks and also their sort of extra work with the community wine project, bringing a lot of Windows-based games over to Linux-based platforms.
Well, if they can do that, that would be a good thing, because that's why I bitch about Linux all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, they've been making a lot of news within the last, 4 or 5 years.
Well, if they can do it, I'll be fine with it. But you know, I mean, don't throw up all this this crazy language in the you know what I mean, and stuff like that. I would be perfectly fine if they could get it to where you could get it set up to play the same games on Linux that you can get from Windows. That'd be excellent.
Just look at my own workstation. At the moment, I've got the entire set of Command and Conquer games, which I purchased not that long ago, which are mainly Windows and DOS applications. Remember, I'm running Linux, running OpenSUSE, and they run fairly smoothly, with maybe a few issues with screen resolution. But that's due to the older games and the 16 by 10 by ratio issue. I've got the last version of Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, which again is what is technically a Windows game.
Yeah.
An adventure game called Greenfall Chapters. Again, Windows, which runs nicely on Linux. Mass Effect, the entire series, I've yet to test it fully out. That one. Eaglesoft's X Rebirth and X4, which are technically Windows games, but one smoothly on Linux.
Mass Effect is a pretty big game. That's gonna be fun for you right there. I've been
yeah, I've got the legendary version, so I've got all 3 episodes.
That's pretty good.
Plus all the DLCs.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I want to try out Cyberpunk 2077.
I just covered that on here too, and I like that was one of the things that I was wanting to cover about. Like they had the new release out for the expansion and everything. And
I've been watching. As I mentioned to you the other day, I subscribed to Let's Play YouTube channels, and both of them have been playing through the latest expansion.
I've heard pretty good things about it. I haven't been able to play. I haven't even been able to play any of them. My son played them. You know what I mean? And I haven't been able to get around them. I've been backlogged with a lot of games, like from games that I was supposed to finish 2 years ago. That's what I've been. That's what I've been.
Here, funny enough, I bought Dreamfall chapters when it was released in 2017, 2018.
Yeah,
2018, and I only finished it last year.
That's great.
I don't have very much time to play games, so.
Well, it's just the overwhelming amount. Like I have old John sending me games and with stream keys and stuff, and then I have like old games that I played with my nephews whenever they were growing up that I wanted to put out. So I started streaming them, and it's like a freaking waiting list on all the games. I just finished playing Skate 3.
Okay.
And it took me a year to do it.
Okay, fair enough. Again, I'm a big fan of the old point-and-click adventure games, and managed to get hold of Space Crash and the complete set of Monkey Island not that long ago.
Yeah.
I've got it stored here, but I've not actually run either of them.
No, I know Rapid is wanting to do Monkey Island. He mentioned it before. I think he's got something planned up on that. And now, when it comes to like the current events on what's happening with Home Away from YouTube and Rapid Glitch, this would be a good time to bring that up. He's starting to kind of. He's getting more modern, I guess you could say. He's kind of getting cool now. You know what I mean? He's decided that he's going to like bend a little bit and go from retro to actual just regular games. You know?
Okay.
And
being a person that still enjoys the old text adventure.
Right. But he started up a new live streaming channel that he's going to do, and I'm going to do the live streams. Zach, Disney Magic Zach's going to do the podcast, and then we're all going to do live streams. So I can, if you want me to, I can tell him that you've got freaking Monkey Island, because I'm pretty sure he'd like to do that with some.
Yeah, the complete set. I think it's 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
I played the first 2 back in the 90s on an Amiga, funnily enough.
Well, it's a freaking iconic game. If you've played freaking video games.
I bought it new. I think the second one new just only a couple months after it was released.
That's pretty cool. You see?
Showing my age now.
Don't worry about it, man. Rapid keeps talking shit on me because I keep telling him about Defender and shit, and then he's like, Defender, because he's Scottish, you know, and he's like, I finally had to tell him after I met him how old I was, and he couldn't believe it. He's like, oh my goodness, what are you still doing, playing video games, you old man?
I still play Pac-Man occasionally. I've got there was a KDE QT version of Pac-Man that I play quite often.
No, I have my limits. I mean, no, I can play like the revised version, but if they get you into that one that had the freaking just a straight square, you know what I mean, where it had all the and there was no going out the sides, you know what I mean. You remember the original?
Okay, yeah.
The original. I can't.
I can remember the original on arcade machines.
It used to annoy me because like you had to do it on the keyboard, and like when you did the directional button, if you didn't hit it on the corner just in time, then freaking you got stuck in the corner.
Okay, I'm thinking of full sort of arcade machines with joysticks, the old joysticks.
Well, see, there used to be an old what was it? It was Macintosh, wasn't it? No, it wasn't Macintosh. The old, yeah, it might have been Macintosh.
I played the old Atari sort of wood finished thing back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
I can't remember what model.
The one I played, I remember my uncle used to have it next to his computer, and he would get so mad at us because frickin' we would sneak into his room and frickin' play his video games, and he said, "I told you not to go in there unless I'm in there, you bastard! Get out of there!"
Fair enough.
Yeah. And we'd sneak in there and play his video games and shit. But he had one of those old computers that he did it on, in Asteroids. That was his big game. He loved Asteroids. But
yeah, I think I probably played Pac-Man and Asteroids first. No, I first discovered Asteroids on a PC B. I think it was B. Either B or Master. Probably Pac-Man a lot on a Commodore 64.
yeah, Commodore. That's the one I was thinking of. Commodore, the old.
Okay, it could be the Commodore 64,
Yeah.
128, 16, or PET. Yeah, PET.
I was too young to realize which one it was, but I knew it was a Commodore. I do know it was. I couldn't remember the name of it, but it was. I know it was a Commodore.
Weirdly enough, Commodore didn't really have that much success in the US. They created a load of business machines, but as far as entertainment computers, they didn't really have very much success in the US, unlike in Europe, which they, especially in the UK, they sold millions of units.
Well, it took me until later on when I got older to figure out what that was all about, though. And like I found out there was a lot of things to take into consideration because you had freaking Atari coming out, and they were a Japanese-based game, and like the internet gaming actually would have came out a lot sooner if it wasn't for console gaming hitting the industry the way they did. You know what I mean? Because
I would argue that it was only quite recently that we've had sufficient bandwidth. When you consider a lot of these 8-bit machines, remember the public accessible internet was, or the web, as to say, wasn't produced until 1994.
Well,
so this is
you got.
We are now in the 16-bit era.
Now, what I found out was it was what really screwed them over the most. It wasn't just competing with the freaking console games coming out, but it was also freaking trying to. They wanted to incorporate their video games with freaking chat. And
I think maybe companies like AOL and CompuServe may have experimented with this concept.
They're the ones that eventually was was the ones that put them out of business. Like it was all about.
AOL died. Was taken over, acquired by Yahoo, and then in the mid 2000s they sort of just died.
Mm-hmm. It's something else. So when it comes to this episode, we've done pretty good. I was able to get you in there. We got a hour and a half recording, man. So this is pretty good. Before we end this, man, let everybody know who you are, man.
Sure. Mark Edworthy. You can find me on minds.com at minds.com/Medworthy.
All right. Thank you for showing up and having a conversation with me, man. And I appreciate everybody who is currently not watching, but will eventually watch the live stream. And thank everybody for leaving comments if they do. So with that, I'm going to end the stream and say thank you. Goodbye. Hello everybody, and welcome. Okay, so for me, I have to come on and apologize for everybody on YouTube, because I had to restream this. I had some technical difficulties with YouTube, and for some reason it wouldn't automatically start up, so I had to go ahead and do it all over again. I do want to apologize for that, and I hope you guys did enjoy it. I did my best to make it to where it was like the original one, and I do apologize again. This is the continuation of my gaming videos, and I've been on break for a little while, so it's me getting back into the habit of live streaming and stuff. That's something I have to work on, and I am working on it, so I apologize. With that, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream for YouTube, and I hope you guys do enjoy.